Well, it is now time to check in on weather with Nebraska Extension Ag climatologist Eric Hunt. Eric, a nasty four-letter word has made its way into the forecast when it comes to this week. It's snow. Seems like things are going to be cooling down a bit as we enter the new week, right?
Thanks, Bryce. We'll definitely want to bundle up for Halloween this year. It's going to be relatively chilly. Speaking of, let's get into the week ahead highlights. So we do have a storm system moving into the Central Plains, and we will see some winter precipitation across the state this morning heading into Sunday morning. The best chance of 2 to 3 inches of snow right now appears to be in the Sandhills and maybe potentially in parts of northeastern Nebraska. Get down here closer to Lincoln, Omaha, and into southeastern parts of the state. It looks like we'll have a mix of rain and then maybe some snow later in the day. But we do want to watch out for a possibility of a heavier snow band setting up between Columbus and Lincoln late Saturday afternoon and into Saturday evening. That is not the expectation right now, but that is a possibility. Another concern is some freezing drizzle and maybe light freezing rain across portions of south central and southeastern Nebraska on Saturday evening. Now, we're not looking at significant amounts of ice accumulation, but any amount of ice accumulation this year is unwelcome. It will be cold on Sunday, a little bit better on Monday, and another reinforcing shot of cold air on Halloween. So this would be about the expected temperatures right now for trick-or-treat time, and most of the state will be in the upper 20s to maybe even the lower 20s across portions of north central Nebraska, so you'll want to bundle up for Halloween this year. The good news is, though, we will start to see some moderating temperatures by Wednesday. Highs probably in the 60s statewide, maybe as early as Friday. Certainly on Saturday, we might even see parts of western Nebraska even back into the 70s by next Saturday. So it will be cold for 4 or 5 days, but we will see some bounce back to nicer conditions. We also will be relatively dry. Expectation is for us to stay relatively warm through the first week of November. Again, I kind of think the whole state will generally be on the warm side as we head into next week and in the early portion of the next week. Expect it to be relatively wet in the Pacific Northwest. I think we'll have to see if we get a deeper trough moving into the central U.S. if we actually do start getting some heavier precipitation the following week. So we've been kind of on a 1 week on, 1 week off pattern when it comes to moisture. So we keep with the recent pattern if we actually did get some decent precipitation somewhere in the state in 2 weeks. Looking at November, right now the CPC is forecasting equal chances of above and below average temperatures for most of the state, with some of southwestern Nebraska being expected to be above normal. Precipitation, no real signal here. Again, I would suspect that we probably will see a bit more precipitation this year in November than we have seen in recent years. Not that that would take a whole lot. Kind of getting the update portion of it, in terms of the drought monitor, the only real change this week is we did see a little bit of degradation to D0 in parts of Chase County. Otherwise, everything was remained relatively unchanged because we did not see much precipitation as of Tuesday morning, which was the cutoff for the drought monitor this week, as usual. We have seen some decent precipitation in parts of the state in the last 24 to 48 hours here as of Thursday afternoon. So Loop City up through past Norfolk, we did have a widespread 1 to 1.5, 3 inches of rain. Including some very heavy precipitation totals right around Norfolk. So they've had over 3 inches of rain since early Thursday morning. And I believe they are just about 0.2 of an inch shy of their wettest October on record, which would be just shy of 7 inches of moisture. And that, ironically enough, would be more than half of their precipitation total for all of 2022. Thanks, and back to you, Bryce.